the line right now is Tim Pool. He is host of Timcast IRL, CEO of timcast.com, and host of the Culture War podcast. You can see that over at his YouTube channel. Tim, thanks for joining the show. Great to talk to you.
Thanks for having me.
So there are two big stories that you are currently involved in. One wasn't enough for you. One of them is, of course, the very widely covered story about a DOJ indictment involving apparently Tenet Media. Tenet Media, according to the allegations, was being paid effectively by a Russian front. And when I say the company was, what I really mean is the founders of the company apparently were, if the allegations in the indictment are true. And all the media ran with was that because you are a host whose show is posted at Tenet Media, that this must have implicated you or Dave Rubin or Benny Johnson. Why don't you give us sort of the rundown of what's going on here?
Yeah, the simple version is the Culture War podcast existed well before Tenet Media or any licensing agreement. We had the show. So I've got multiple YouTube channels. One is youtube.com/Timcast. That was my original channel where I used to host a 4 p.m., half an hour podcast. We switched formats because I have a couple channels. One was redundant. I have another one that's basically the same thing. They're kind of redundant. So we turned this one into a Friday morning live show about cultural issues. So it's
a better crossover than Deadpool and Wolverine. Oh my God.
Politics doesn't, come in relatively often, but we did one on dating. We did an episode on simulation theory versus Christianity and religion. So it's not an overtly political show. That show was licensed for principal broadcast, non-exclusive to Tenet Media. That's it. The show exists still to this day, and it will be at youtube.com/Timcast on Friday.
I think it's fucking ridiculous that there's one of two options here. Either Tim Pool is the dumbest person on the planet, which, he kind of is, and he had no idea that, people wanted him to say anti-Ukraine, pro-Russia sentiment for $100,000 a week. Or he knew he's still the dumbest person on the planet, and he took the money knowing full well that he was getting paid by the Russian government. Doesn't really matter which is the answer. I think it's still the second one. Because that also still factors in the, the reality he's the dumbest person on the planet. But ain't nobody's like, oh man, I wonder who's paying me to say pro-Russian, anti-Ukrainian shit. $100,000 a week.
So with this story, we're hearing that these allegations, it's kind of crazy. I mean, Lauren Chen, I guess she's been fired from the Blaze. I don't know a lot about what's going on. In fact, I think I only talked to her a couple times this year. For me, it was we had an exist.
He's the real victim, by the way. He's just crying to his $400,000 a month payment that he got for being like, Ukraine is the #1 enemy of America. It's like, bro, come on, man. I'm pissed, dude. I'm pissed. I would have done that. I can't believe all I've gotten for all my endless loyalty to Vladimir Putin. All I've gotten out of it is the Russian government calling me gay in a fucking military recruitment ad and $0.00. Okay? It's fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. God damn it, Russia. Fuck you guys.
Show that a new show we had launched had been up for a few months. We hosted people like Vivek Ramaswamy on it, and we were preparing to engage in sponsorships, and they were getting hundreds of thousands of views per episode, and we decided,
for the record, and I'm being for real 100% honest with this, the American government has seized the assets of Russian oligarchs and shit. They absolutely should take every fucking dime that he's gotten from the Russian government. Every single dime, okay? They should be forcibly extracting this money from him, penny by penny, every penny accounted for, okay? However many thousands of dollars he got, hundreds of thousands of dollars, take that shit from him, okay? Even if you're not going to throw him in jail, that's blood money, right? That would be sick. And I think that would be cool, and they should do that. Okay? They should take his fucking beanie if he can't pay for it.
To license it out because Lauren contacted us and was saying, you know, we'd love to license something from you. And I said, well, we don't need to do that. We're an independent company. We have our own members and sponsorships. And then it took quite a while, but long story short, we agreed to a non-exclusive broadcast license, which meant that we own the show. The show is owned by the cult.
Bro, what if they come after you for the China money? Oh, God, I wish I got money from China. I don't even have a fucking Genshin Impact ad, dude. What the fuck are you talking about? Wukong didn't even work with me. And I've been playing it non-fucking stop. It's so much fun.
Culture War Company, which is its own company. We own distribution rights. We own audio distribution rights, everything about it. They just effectively paid for a license, which would have it appear on their YouTube channel Friday mornings at 10 a.m. And with that, they got to use my likeness and things like that. And so now with these allegations, I don't know what's going on there, but I don't know if you want to ask any questions so we can elaborate.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only questions that, given the media coverage, I think the question that people in the media are pushing, at least, is the idea that there must have been some sort of outside external Russian control of your show. Maybe you want to address how you do the editorial at your show. Was Lauren ever talking to you about the editorial content of the show or anything like that?
Nope. So I barely even talked to Lauren. And it's kind of crazy. I've known her for a long time. So when she said that she was launching a company, she had investors, I'm like, okay. I mean, I hear that 50 times a year. And in the podcast space, we just heard that I think Travis Kelce is getting a $100 million contract. So these numbers that's where they're at. I think people don't realize how.
Did you just compare yourself to Travis Kelce? Are you on fucking crack, dude? Like, dog, your podcast gets like 20K views an episode on YouTube, man. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, yeah, of course, there's a difference between motherfucking Travis Kelce. It's like comparing yourself to Joe Rogan. You would never do that, right? You would never do that. That is insane, right? Because, like, the audience that Joe Rogan has is unironically much, much larger than your fucking audience. Holy shit. Oh, my God. These guys are so fucking delusional, dude. Like, oh my God. Oh. Yeah, he literally was talking about how like his band would be doing Taylor Swift numbers, you know, if it wasn't for woke.
How big the podcasting space is and the revenue that you generate from sponsorships and memberships. So it seemed kind of, I don't know, mundane to a certain extent. A lot of people think,
yo, get the fuck out of here. You're such a bitch. You're such a fucking lion ass bitch, bro. Okay? Absolutely not, dude. You got 10K views on that fucking bitch ass podcast. No. I have an actually successful podcast, okay? More successful than Tim Pool's podcast called Fear And. Some of you may know it. Some of you may not. We get 10 times the fucking view count that this bitch ass gets on our podcast. Okay? If someone out of the blue hit us up to be like, we're going to give you $400,000 a month, okay? $100,000 a week. I'd be like, the fuck is going on? That's insane. That is fucking insane, okay? You're out of your goddamn mind. What is this? If you're serious about pushing a Russian narrative for dollar, check DMs Steve Seagal. What the fuck? Motherfucker put a hostel in here too. Austin would murder you in cold blood and take the deal. Yeah, I mean, we have a Democratic organization, obviously. You're all in for Kamala. I'm all in for Mamala, baby. You already know it. Woo, Brass Summer. Kaya, place. Little lady.
these numbers are huge. But yeah, so I don't know. Ask me again. I'm losing my train of thought.
Yeah, no. I mean, the only question was basically whether you were in control of the editorial, and it sounds like you were. So
I mean, the Culture War show is a conversation show, thought into it. We had been talking about hosting a show on religious debate and simulation theory and AI. So I talked to my booking agent and said, can we find a guy who talks about AI and simulation and then do a 2-hour conversation? That's the gist of it. That's how the show was produced. The first episode that actually appeared on Tenet was about skateboarding. Quite literally, we had a professional skateboard filmer, an amateur and a professional skateboarder, and we talked about skateboarding because I'm a skateboarder and that's what we do. So, I mean, it's kind of crazy to hear that they're saying.
Oh, I was on the deprogram.
Well, you
by
got
the
your
way.
jewelry. I got my tiny ones. I'm having penis envy right now.
I gotta show up for the boys, you know.
Explain. Neutralize it more than even countries that never even.
I was on the episode of Deprogram, by the way. I can't believe the podcast would invite an Albanian guest. Truly a betrayal. Also, I don't know what Hasan saw in the museum exactly, but it's a pretty famous bit of knowledge that Stalinists were also considered enemies of the state. Galyatok being the infamous prison. Yeah, I saw that. You're kind of right. Even Stalin looks sort of Turkish, and loads of Turkish dads. The kids I grew up with sort of look like Stalin when they hit 60. Lol. I love when you guys do race science with Hasan.